Manchester United beaten 4-0 tonight by Crystal Palace. A deserved victory for the Eagles. I think that's their nickname. A stellar performance, a top performance. What Oliver Grasner has done since he's arrived there has been nothing short of spectacular. 19 points in the 11 games that he has managed. They only managed 9 points in the previous 11. And he has demonstrated what good coaching, what a good system, what a basic system, but a good system does. It improves players. You've seen that with Mateta. It gets the very best out of your team. It makes it hard for you to break down. And they deserved it. And I wanted to start tonight as calmly as possible, praising Crystal Palace, praising their manager, Olise, majestic. I thought Mateta up front was excellent. Hughes in midfield looked like Steven Gerrard tonight with the performance that he put in. The three at the back, Klein looked like he could have been Carl Walker for the way he played as that third centre-back. Overall, Crystal Palace thoroughly deserved winners. Thoroughly deserved winners tonight in every single which way. And I wanted to, as I say, I wanted to start off by mentioning that because I think they deserved it. I think they need praise. What the turnaround there in the last 2.5 months has been brilliant. Manchester United, this Manchester United, are beyond an embarrassment. They're an embarrassment to everything that has come before them. They're an embarrassment to every great moment, every triumph, every tragedy, every element. The tapestry of Manchester United has been embarrassed by what we saw tonight. It was an absolute shit show from the opening minutes. Zero structure in this team whatsoever. No, it looks like zero coaching in terms of when we get the ball. I'm not too sure what it ended up with, but in the first half, we had about 65% possession. But you could see the players had no idea what to do. They'd get the ball. If they couldn't beat a man themselves, they just look around and pass backwards because the options were limited. Now, you could put that down. You could put that down to the players not being particularly good. And you might say you can't blame that on the manager, Terry, but yes, you can. 8 of the players that featured tonight were his signings. Let's just have that right. 8 of the players that featured, he bought. He has been coaching this team for the best part of 2 years. And there is a system, but it's shit. There is a style of play, but it's horrendous. The shape of our team in and out of possession should be a criminal offense. Erik ten Hag absolutely must be sacked tonight. I don't want to hear nonsense about we've got to break the cycle. Yes, we've got to break the cycle. That starts in the summer with the new regime. That's the difference, that it's football decision makers coming in to make footballing decisions. But Ten Hag's position is untenable and he must go tonight. He should not be allowed to manage the FA Cup final. We have beyond zero chance of winning if we keep playing like this. That first goal, Eriksen is standing where he is told to stand system-wise. You know why I know that? Because it doesn't matter whether it's Eriksen or McTominay or Mainu or Casemiro or Amrabat, who has played that role in midfield this year. They all stand there with a gaping great hole behind them. Olise jogged into acres of space. Jogged! Because of this system. Yes, Casemiro then makes an absolutely horrendous mistake, going to ground, getting twined up. He made a midfielder's mistake when he was playing centre-back and left the hole. But did you see the hole? Did you see the hole afterwards? All I saw from Man United from that point was, go on, Olise, have a shot, bruv. Go on. We won't close you down. He was so shocked, he nearly messed it up. He was so shocked, he almost didn't shoot. And then he bobbled it into the bottom corner. No one closed him down. And it isn't just tonight. That massive hole in our midfield has been visible since we played Wolves in the opening day of the season. So I don't want to hear injuries. This player's missing. It's been there since the start of the season. The start of the season. Let that sink in. Start of the season. And it hasn't been addressed. And I am sick to my back teeth, not of how we're playing. I'm kind of used to it. I'm actually more angry at the fans saying, let him get his players back. Give him another summer. No. He is looking at a broken system. He is looking at tactics that are being exposed every single week. The way a defensive line sits back and leaves room at the edge of the box for cutback goals. That's his system. He can see it like you and I can see it, and he ignores it. And no matter the quality of player, if you leave those holes, you will be punished. Point blank. I'm at a point where I'm not even angry at the players. Look, Casemiro should not play another game for Man United. I'm not someone who believes in conspiracy theories, but part of me sometimes feels like he's doing some of this on purpose. It looks like he probably isn't. I understand that. Shouldn't play him again. But he had an awful first half and should have been taken off or moved into midfield, something. But he leaves him on. We start the game. Aaron Wan-Bissaka is bang average on his right foot in the attack. His left foot is even worse. But yet this manager in his wisdom, against a team, by the way, we're going to have more of the ball against. I understand it if you want to do a defensive tackling job on someone. Puts Delo on the right, who is far more competent on his left. So he unbalances the side. You've got Cass at the back. You've got this system that's got holes all over it. No adjustments being made. The team does not know what to do in attack. Now, I can take and understand the criticism. There are certain players that are not good enough. And I understand that. I understand it. But I see the Burnleys of this world, the Sheffield Uniteds of this world play better football. And I already mentioned Crystal Palace already and what Oliver Grasner has done since he came in. In the last 11 games, they've got 19 points. I think that puts them somewhere like 6th or 7th in the form table. But you see a structure, you see a shape, you see a togetherness. You see the confidence coming out of the players because they know where each other are going to be. They know what the best positions are to take up. And then you see individual players improve. They didn't look this good 12 games ago with Roy Hodgson. They also, by the way, had the likes of Eze and Olise in this squad who didn't look this good because the system wasn't right. Man United's system is the biggest problem in terms of how we're playing football right now. I truly believe a better, more competent coach, forget managing right now, just a coach in the next 3 weeks could give us a better opportunity of FA Cup success. A better opportunity. I'm not guaranteeing it would be a win, but this right now is absolutely horrendous. And people say things like tail in the mud. How am I in the mud? You acted like I just fell in it. Well, I am in the mud. I didn't just fall in it today. Been in it for a decade, bruv. Been calling this out. I'm sick to my back teeth of Ten Hag being defended. I am absolutely sick to my back teeth of people saying he should be given another season. Based on what? But what about this is recoverable? What about this will improve? In my opinion, almost none of it. And I watched Rasmus Højlund out there. Criticize, yes. But what are we doing to help him? What are we doing in training to improve this young man? I look at Mainu, who we all know is talented, starting to look average every game. Why? Because the system is awful. No matter the talent, you need a system that's at least competent. And if you look at Chelsea this season, just like us, an overall a horrendous campaign. But the football, for large parts of the season, has looked competent. It's got better and better over the course of the campaign, and it's now starting to flourish. Why? Because Poch has made subtle changes and differences to his team to find the formula. Our manager just goes, I'm sticking with this because I believe in it. It's horrendous. If we would have started to make changes, maybe, just maybe, he could have turned it around. But he's hanging these players out to dry. They're not the best bunch anyway, culturally. So they don't have the fight. They don't have the work ethic. The club doesn't have the underbelly and structure to persevere through these bad times. And there's big changes coming in the summer, and I'm so excited about them. I'm so looking forward to the slate being wiped clean and starting again. But I think that process, or a big step in that process, must start tonight. I think the manager has to be removed. I am not suggesting he is the only problem at the club. I'm not stating that just sacking him, this team will win everything and challenge and X, Y, and Z. A massive squad overhaul is needed. We've already changed the football decision makers. I think new coaches are needed. New doctors are needed. But this manager cannot remain. Never have Palace beaten us twice in a season. And they've done it home and away. And we've been embarrassed tonight. 4-0 smashing. 4-0 smashing. Untenable. Got to go. Start again afresh in the summer with a clean slate. Yes, we start moving out lots of the... I don't want to hear this. Oh, cycle. What cycle nonsense? Half these players have got to go as well. But even this squad, with a competent coach, could drill them into a system where they're at least difficult to break down and beat. At least give their opponents a game. We haven't given anybody a competitive game in a long time. In a long time. The writing should have been on the wall for people when we played Coventry. But for some unknown fucking reason, people couldn't see it. Or they can, or they want to ignore it. Oh, I'm a good fan. You're not a good fan. You're hurting the club. Absolutely embarrassed. Embarrassed by this football club. Embarrassed by this manager and embarrassed by this performance. Should be sacked tonight. A lot of these players need their P45 in the summer as well. They don't get off completely scot-free. But the system, and it was such a... Almost... It's just who we played and how they've changed in the last 2 months versus what we're doing. And people can't wake up and smell the coffee. Get out of here. Sack the manager tonight. And I'm going to go to some of your super chats and member chats and then bring out the panel. I'm not going to speak much when the panel comes out. I'm just going to let them do it because I'm just done. I need to see leadership from Ineos. Everyone has checked out since Ten Hag buying links. Make the decision tonight and sack him. Do not let it fester like the Glazers. I agree, Josh, and I've given them a lot of grace so far, but they've got to make a decision. Will we beat City in the FA Cup final? Probably not. You sack him and go out and find a decent, competent coach, just a coach, as an interim for a few weeks. You never know. A little bit of new manager bounce, a little bit of confidence back in the legs of a few players. You've got half a chance. This team, with how we're performing, cannot win that final. Can't blame Ten Hag. Players ain't good enough. Listen, I'm sorry, Ginger Fury. 8 of the players on the pitch tonight, he purchased. He had the power to purchase. The power was given to him, and we're awful. Equally, teams that are getting relegated play better football than us. Teams in lower leagues have better structure than us. That is on the manager. Injuries or no injuries. The gap between Palace and United is massive. They play better football. Facts. Up next, Arsenal. Listen, Arsenal... I said that, I tweeted this earlier. If Man United beat Arsenal on Sunday, Arteta should hand in his resignation. That is how poor a result that would be for Arsenal. Goldbridge went Hoke mold for this. Listen, it was a disallowed goal. I'm keeping the same energy. I told everybody they thought I was working for Arsenal because that's the only comeback they have against me. When I said that Bournemouth's goal was rightfully disallowed, you can't touch goalkeepers. If Højlund had jumped straight in the air and the goalie banged into him, different. Højlund jumps into him and knocks him. They give that as fouls, rightly or wrongly. That's what they give him for. This game proved what we've been saying for years. No squad turnaround or depth, no structure or credible recruiting. The club is broken and it starts from the top. The Glazers stick with Ten Hag. See, Tony, this is where I disagree. The Glazers made the wrong decision in giving the power to Ten Hag to control things. That's I agree with. But the manager has helped to create this mess. The system is broken. He needs to go as well to start it all over again. I agree with a lot of what you said, just not the end bit. I'm licking my lips now. Come on, you gooners. You should be. Worst top 6 side I've ever seen, genuinely. Yeah, I can accept that. I can accept it. I think we're one of the worst. It's one of the worst Manchester United teams I've ever seen in my life. It really is. United are what rivals think Chelsea are. Ten Hag in. Listen, I've had a lot of Chelsea fans tonight flexing, a lot of Chelsea fans saying, wow, we're ahead of you. I call it what it is. It's a micro penis competition. Yes, mine's only a centimetre. Yours is a centimetre and 2 millimeters, but they're both still tiny. Both had awful seasons. Both had an awful couple of years in totality. You can flex it if you want. I wouldn't the other way round because it's still embarrassing, but that's just my personal opinion. Everyone smash the like button for Terry's mental health. My mental health is good, my friend, outside of football, of course. Glory, glory, Crystal Palace. Please beat Newcastle next and hand us Europa League football. I guarantee Ten Hag will smash it at Bayern. Listen, I don't think he'll be a bad manager if he goes elsewhere. I've already said that. It's a more nuanced conversation. It isn't manager bad, manager good. It's far more grown up than that. Sack him and he's off to Bayern. He's a quality coach with players who have given up. The club is and has been broken for years. You're right. And at Bayern, he would do better because they have a structure that enables him to just be a coach. He doesn't have to be the manager. He doesn't get the say really on buying players. They tell him how to coach the team. That is where Ten Hag will thrive. That's a structure that Man United need. It's pretty much the structure that all clubs use. Yes, they allow in small changes here and there, but you need a club structure. He's come in when there isn't one. It's broken even more than when he came in. We've got to start again, move everybody out, start clearing the squad out. You start again. Been saying it for a decade. I stand right every time. How United were above Chelsea now baffles me. Palace actually looked like Barca tonight. Look, the reason that Chelsea have been below Man United all season is they have performed and or delivered worse than us up until this point. We're level on points as well as it stands. Both teams, as I say, maybe not stylistically. Chelsea definitely play a better style of football than we do. I would never deny that. But results-wise, just as poor for the majority of the season. Sorry, this Casemiro Donny was dreadful. Genuinely, you could have played the academy youth in there and they wouldn't have been as bad as him. He's a liability. He was, but the fact the manager left him on for the full 90 minutes is an abomination. If Arsenal don't beat this United team, they should all be given criminal records. I agree with you, mate. It'd be embarrassing. United have conceded 81 goals in all competitions, the most United have conceded since 1966-67 season. Palace have improved. They have, and we're awful. And listen, you've seen this stat. This is going around. Look at this bad boy. Look at this bad boy, Ten Hag's people. We have the worst defensive record in the league in 2024. We've conceded in the whole season more shots per game than Sheffield United that are already relegated. But give him another season. But at least tonight proved one thing, though. At least we all know it isn't all Bruno and Rashford's fault, eh? Mason Mount hype. Mainu better than Enzo hype. Well, look, first of all, see. I don't know where you're getting the Mainu better than Enzo hype stuff from. This isn't about Enzo. But anyway, Højlund better than Jackson. I mean, that was said by your own fans like Don. All Manchester United is hype with no substance, including the Man United fans who overhype their youngsters. Look, we know that Mainu is a top talent and, of course, needs better coaching and a better structure to play within. I still believe that Rasmus Højlund has got a very bright future in football. But when you have a structure and a system and the coaching like we have, there's major problems. Mason Mount, listen, I didn't want him. I said it would be a bad signing. So, yeah, I'm not going to sit there and defend that one, but I will defend the other two players. I can't. The fact that we're expecting an 18-year-old to run midfield in the Premier League in a broken system, fuck that. If you guys think it's because the players are all bad, then fair enough. But there we go. The fan base is usually culpable for this. Ten Hag's sexuals can go with him. How people call you an Arsenal fan is beyond me. They only do that because they can't debunk my points. Whenever someone attacks you, I say this, whether it's another YouTuber making a video or I'm going to expose someone, when they don't expose anything that's bad, they just give a horrible opinion about them. If they're attacking your personality, if they're attacking you as a person, it's because they can't debunk your points. That's just life, bro. Terry, has never been in the mud. The guy has been consistent all season with his assessment, unlike some of this Man United fans who have no idea or clue. Look, I appreciate that. Like, people like to twist things, and everybody wants to. You know, I will say one thing about me. Even most of my panelists, like a lot of them, it's their dream to beat me in a debate. It's just I need to get one over on Terry. There's a lot of that goes on. I find it very humbling, if I'm being honest with you. I do. But as I've said, I did predict us in the summer to go to another level, and I got it wrong. I really thought we would go to another level. I really thought that the manager would. I didn't think we'd win the league, but I thought we'd be much closer to a title race from what we improved on last year. I got that tremendously wrong, and I held my hands up. By the way, in about October. But since then, it just hasn't got any better. It's got worse and worse and worse, and I'll call it out for what it is. Like, we all make preseason predictions that are right. We all make preseason predictions that are wrong. I got it wrong with Man United, but I haven't run with an agenda that it's all going to be okay. We're awful. Rest will make sure you beat Newcastle to make Europe. Oh, come on, stop that. Stop that. If the rest were trying to help us, they would have given that foul on Rasmus. It might have been, that should have been a red card foul. It was 3-0 down, yes, but he's about to run through on goal and he got his legs clipped like Haaland did. Now, it would have probably been offside with VAR, but when VAR checked it, they radioed back through saying not in the box, so there's nothing we can do, which means they thought it was a foul. But anyway, we move. United, poorly structured club. Ten Hag was destined to foul, but a lot of what has happened falls on him as well. Sometimes fresh starts needed, so a clear out. I agree completely. Does Mount really want to play for United, or does he go because his dad's a United fan? He had multiple clubs listen, I don't know the answer to that question. If I'm being honest with you, Mason Mount is the least of my worries or concerns right now. I'm almost at a point where I'm not judging 95% of these players. I just can't. I can't when we're so badly structured on the pitch. I just can't. If I'd have said to any of you, let's be honest here and have a grown-up conversation. If I'd have said in January, Mateta, that guy's can be a good quality striker, you'd have all laughed at me. Everybody would have gone, Mateta? B-Tech Emil Heskey. You'd have said, I'd rather sign Andy Carroll. That's what you'd have said. How good he looks now in a well-drilled modern-day system. I know everyone throws around system players, and I sometimes think that word's overused now, system player. Most players play better in a good system, and always have for the history of in football. It's as simple and as straightforward as that. You literally could take Vinicius Jr., put Vinicius Jr. in this Man United team for a year playing like this, and I guarantee in a year's time you'd have said, oh my God, he was overhyped this whole time. Guarantee you. Needs a lot of time to reverse a decade of damage. It does, but we've got time. Literally all the time in the world. You said the hole in midfield has been there since the start. Add the amount of cutback goals, lack of marking in the box and in transition too. This is a shit show. I only came to see you, Terry. Thank you, Joshua Jack. And that's all coaching and the manager. All coaching and the manager. Because it isn't like they're making mistakes and he's dropping them. It's all the manager. That element. Did Anthony cost 100 million? A lot of blaming Onana. He has not got the protection at all. Look, Onana's had a lot of bad games this season across all comps. I didn't think he had a particularly good game tonight at all. I really didn't. Leaving Mainu to fend for himself in the midfield by himself. Where is the rest of your midfield in the same? They leave Mainu exposed, and then we give him the ball, and it's like, right, do something. What do you think he's going to do? He ain't Ronaldinho. He's an 18-year-old fledgling with almost no experience, little to no experience, and we're putting all our hopes on him. It is, do you know, I'm at a point where if he was a year younger and he was like 17, I'd phone Childline. I'd say that's child abuse. You shouldn't be doing that to a young man. Ridiculous. Nav here says, do you get what I mean? It might be a case, but went to come out for his dad as a United fan. Yeah, I don't think he went to United just for his dad. I wouldn't have gone that far personally. Like Emery's Arsenal, time to get rid and go again. Yes, and start a whole new fresh project, including clearing out backroom staff, football decision makers, everything at the same time. I agree. Nice Chelsea fans have something to cheer about. Yeah, I mean, I don't even mean it rudely. I'm not worried about Chelsea in any capacity. I'm I look at it this way when it comes to Chelsea. They can celebrate being ahead of us on goal difference in 7th place. They can say we're more embarrassing or in a worse position than them. From a football terrace point of view, I'd like to finish ahead of them. It's a little bit of fun and banter, and I get that. But in actuality, in real life, I couldn't give a fuck. I care about my team fixing itself. Scott here says, so many players need to go, but who is seriously going to take these awful players on crazy wages? There's not as many of these players on crazy wages as people think. 2 or 3 of the highest wage players are all coming to an end of their contracts. Then you've got Bruno and Rashford on high salaries. Everybody else, you start to get to 150,000, 120s, 100,000s. It's doable. You can move these players on. I wouldn't buy into that nonsense. You said Bruno and Rashford, add Scott and Maguire to this. Look, again, I say Bruno and Rashford, but I used to do this when Martial and Pogba missed games and we didn't improve. This idea that it's 1 or 2 players that make us bad is crazy, which is why when I talk about Enzo at Chelsea, yes, they've been better without him, but I've clearly stated correlation and causation don't always add up. Maybe it's profile of players. Maybe it's the athleticism. You need a much bigger sample size. We're too quick. You know, and we know he works. Nothing that's wrong with this club is Bruno or Rashford directly. Anyone who thinks that has just got an agenda. I'm not saying we shouldn't look for better, but the idea that we play bad football because of them, just shut the fuck up with that bullshit. You've been proven wrong again, so just stop it. Doesn't mean they shouldn't be criticised, though, before anyone goes, you can't criticise them. Babies, fucking everywhere. When was the last time Man United won comfortably? When we beat Palace in the Carabao Cup earlier on this season. Probably, that's top of my head. Someone else might remember a different time. Even though I hate Man United, I feel bad for you guys. Don't care about anybody says there is no better rivalry than Man United and Arsenal. I hear you, bro. I hear you. Mount earning 300k a week is the least of your worries. Hang on a second. Someone sent me a list earlier today of Man United salaries. I could have missed that one. Just bear with me a second. I've got to do this and I'm bringing out my panel and then I'm going to rest my throat. 1 sec. Sorry, peeps. 250,000 a week. You are right. He is on that amount. But when I say the least of my worries, I feel like I've got much bigger issues than that. Like Mason Mount being at my club probably doesn't rank in the top 10 issues that I feel we've got right now. That's all I'm saying. Heartbroken for my boy Terry. Thank you, mate. I appreciate the kindness. Thank you. Thank you for the super chat. You didn't say anything, but thank you. Thanks for gifting us Europe. Just do us one more favor and beat Newcastle. We might listen. I actually want to see Chelsea get into Europe. I want to see what happens with I want to see how much money you can spend being in Europe when you've got when you're 157% over the cap that UEFA so you can have. I'm actually intrigued to see how that plays out. But yeah, there we go. Man United needed a low block defense system. I don't think we needed a low block, but I was expecting us to improve, like you said, but my expectations changed after the summer window and the lack of activity in January. Yeah, listen, you've got to remember that summer, the manager pushed for these players. I know he wanted Kane and couldn't get him. He then went for Højlund, manager's choice. The manager pushed for Amrabat and Mount all summer and got them. They're his players at the end of the day. As an Arsenal fan, my only advice to United is to be ruthless like Arsenal were. Cut them contracts no matter how unpopular the reaction would be. I agree. Ruthlessness is needed and it should start tonight. Panel time now. Sam is here. KJ's here. Staffy, Just Mo. We've got Michael Griggs. We've got Dio and Strasbourg Steve all with us on the show. Welcome back, everyone. I'm going to go to you first, KJ.
It's almost over, guys. It's almost flipping over. 3 Premier League games, 1 FA Cup final, and then we're done, and we'll be free. And this game just confirms what I already know. He's gone. He is gone. Half of these players are going to be gone, and he's going to be gone. Ten Hag's getting sacked. I don't care what anyone says. All you Ten Hag inners, you've got all these defensive Ten Hag, the injuries, the cycle, the rain, and the centimeters of the grass. I don't care what your excuse is. This man is gone. And it's going to be good because we're starting again finally. Today is just another performance that you could replay my reaction or any of the other guys' reactions, Staffy, Michael, any of the other guys, DZ, Neeks, Cam, Sky, Sophia, anyone else's reaction you can just play and it'll be the same thing. No matter what the game is, you can just change your name to Palace. So this is the thing. I am so glad we're getting to the end of the season because there are major issues at this club right now. And the thing is, I'm not even going to talk about the system because Terry spoke about it enough and I have said it enough and everyone said it enough. I want to talk about development. Let's just talk pure coaching now. Let's just talk pure coaching. Rasmus Højlund was awful today. He was dreadful. But this performance has been around since the start of the season when he wasn't getting any goals, when he was struggling. We went through a good period, got injured. Ever since he's been back from that injury, again, he's reverted back. Why? Because this club doesn't, this manager and this coaching staff aren't developing. They're not developing these guys. The same issues that our players are having, they've been having all season. Garnacho, anonymous from the left wing today. He had a good few moments in the first half and then disappeared again. Why? Because they keep shifting him about. That's not development. He was cooking on the right-hand side. He was doing good bits for us on the right-hand side. And now all of a sudden, it's, okay, just put him on the left again. Why? You're stunting the development of these players. Kobe Mainoo, again, probably his worst game for Man United that I've seen. Giving the ball away, almost conceding goals, all these things happening. He was our shining light this season. And guess what? He's regressing. Why? Because there's no development. Again, where is the development? Why is his defensive awareness not getting better? Why is his coverage of space not getting better? Why is he not getting helped in that midfield? Because he's getting hung out to dry by the senior players, by the senior midfielders of this club. They're hanging their 18, 19-year-old out to dry in that midfield. So I want to know where the development is. The development of our players is non-existent. You've got Delo playing the best football that he's played in a while. You shift him about left to right, left to right, left to right. Aaron Wan-Bissaka, left, right, left, right. How are they supposed to develop? How are they supposed to build connections with players on the pitch? How are they supposed to do that? They can't. Because there is no rhythm, there's no system, and there's no development happening at this football club. The Onana is making the same mistakes that he's made all season. Why? Where's the development? And then it comes to the senior players. Eriksen should not be playing for Man United ever again. I've said this many times. He's a player that gets away with foolishness. Because you got the likes of Bruno, because you got the likes of Rashford, because you got the likes of Anthony, all these players that people don't like to talk about, people like Eriksen get to hide away with their foolishness. Not on my watch. Eriksen has regressed so badly. It's sad to see because he made an amazing comeback with Brentford. He came here in his first season. He did decent. I was happy with him. And now this season's gone backwards. I don't want to see him play again. Casemiro, I'm convinced he's doing whatever he does on purpose. I'm convinced. He is absolutely shafting us on purpose because he wants to be gone. He wants to get out of here. He's done with the season. He's done with Ten Hag.
Leave that guy for me, KJ, please. Leave that Casemiro guy for me.
I'll save him for that. Okay, cool.
Yeah, save him for me. Talk about
Staffy. I'll alley-oop him there. So he's in the air. You can dunk him in a sec. You know what I'm saying? So overall, this team, this club, this needs to restart, and we've already started it. We got new backroom staff. No, not backroom staff. We got new hierarchy. So Claude Blanc, man like Blanc was in the stands. You're not telling me with his football eyes, his football IQ, he's not watching this pitch and being like, this guy's got to go. There's no way he's saying, yeah, we're keeping this guy. Wilcox, everyone's saying, oh, Wilcox loves Ten Hag. They're doing conversations in the back room in their lunchtime. They have lunch breaks together. I don't flipping care. He's just keeping him sweet. Wilcox knows that man's gone. Sir Jim knows that man is gone. Now, I just need this summer to come so change can happen properly. So half of these players can get shipped out. So Ten Hag can get shipped out and we can actually start building again. It is what it is. Husam asked me in the group chat, I'm not embarrassed. I would be embarrassed if these players had some kind of pride. If these players had some kind of structure. If this manager had a clue of what he's done, I'll be embarrassed. Because I would be like, this is not us. This is not what we're used to. But this is us. We are the worst footballing team in the Premier League.
No, we're not. We're not. We're the worst footballing team in England.
I was about to say that, Terry. We're actually the worst footballing team in England. Pound for pound, we are the worst. Like, again, Notts County play better football than us. Wrexham play better football than us. Coventry City proved they play better football than us. Bromley Town just got promoted, or Bromley FC just got promoted to their
Wrexham.
They play better. Their manager, the Bromley manager, got hired because of FM. This guy was an FM manager, bruv, and he plays better football than us. Hands down, we're the worst. We're the worst.
I couldn't agree with you more, KJ. Especially about the development element, because for me, I understand rivals are going to come in on Mainu because they know he's good, and that's why they're coming in on him. But I see the way people talk about Højlund, the way they talk about Garnacho, and I honestly, if I was a violent man, I'd be smacking him in the mouth, Sparko on the floor. It's like, how dare you talk about the kids in this way? We should not be relying on these young kids playing this many games. We shouldn't be putting all the pressure on them. At the same time, with the same people having a go at them, typically speaking, are the guys that say there's no coaching, there's no training, there's no system, there's no shape. Yet, so the manager's that bad at coaching, but then you're throwing the young players that are not being developed at the same time under the bus. Shame on anybody that's doing that. Staffy, go on.
Oh, sorry. No, Staffy, go on. My bad.
Go on, Staffy. What are your thoughts on tonight, mate?
I probably
start with Casemiro. I want to hear this,
bro. I just retweeted it. The tweet that Terry tweeted out on August 31st, 2023, saying he wants Casemiro out already. It's on my Twitter. Go check it again. And I got dogs abuse for it, for saying get this guy out. This is everyone's homework for today, okay? The whole I don't know how many people are watching, how many thousand people are watching us right now. This is going to be your homework today. When we're done with this stream, you're going to go back to the match reaction to when we lost to Borussia Dortmund in preseason and just go watch what I said about this team and this midfield. It's the same thing that I could say today. So that's everyone's homework for today. Just go watch those back. Everyone who gave me dog's abuse for saying that, you deserve this loss. And today, by the way, I'm not going to rage. Pretty much KJ said it perfectly. Just go back to all our takes, all the people that he named, and just go back at all our takes this season. It's pretty much the same thing. I am here to celebrate. I'm here to celebrate these idiots who actually sit here and they're in pain today and saying, oh, this Ten Hag that, this Ten Hag this. You deserve that. I don't deserve that. I'm not here to even say anything. I'm not even going to rant because I finished my rants earlier in the season. Today, I was just watching the game. Griggs was with me on the watch along. We were just vibing. We were just laughing. Every time we conceded a goal, yeah, it just felt iffy, and then we moved on. And people were wondering, oh, but Goldbridge is raging. Why are you not raging too? You're not a real fan. I was raging all season. I was actually critical when we were winning, and you told me I'm a fake fan. Now you want me to rage when we're losing, when I've been saying this is the system that we've been playing? I'm not going to be that upset. I'm here to actually celebrate in your faces to tell you, you guys deserve that. When Terry sits here, listen, me and Terry throughout the season, we were actually butting heads in the beginning, Ten Hag in, Ten Hag out. But even he saw the light early enough for me to be like, you know what? I'm not gonna stick it on him. He saw earlier in the season that, you know what? This is not good enough. I need to actually call it out. Most of us did. The idiots, and I'm gonna call them out with names. Where's Oro Campbell? Sitting there with your $4.99 like it matters. Like you have some better say than us because you spend $4.99 on every super. Where's Oro Campbell right now? Oro Campbell somewhere. He's probably in his bathroom crying right now because he can't defend his manager. And people want to sit here and defend the manager, say injuries. Like if we haven't been shit all season with injuries anyways and without injuries. And let me just get this Casemiro guy out of the way. I made a plea to Saudi Arabia. I told you guys we could get 60 million. The train has already left. We're late. It's no more with 60 million. We'd be lucky if we get 30 million for this guy in the summer. Basically, it would only be. Listen, bro. I'm telling you, Steve. Please, I'm on my knees from Saudi Arabia to get this guy to my club now. That 60 million. Poof. You know how Hamza does it, Sad. It's gone. Khalas, no more 60 million, bro. We'd be lucky to get off this guy 25 to 30 million. This guy got dribbled today 8 times. 8 times as a center back. And people told me he has Champions League experience. Well, hold on a minute. An experienced player would go into this team today, even though we have injuries, they would have a respectful game. But you know why he can't have a respectful game? Because number one, he's washed. And number two, his manager's not doing him any favors. This whole system is crap. Onana's conceding more goals than anyone in the league. The whole back line is exposed. The fact that we have a back line that's absent and we're not doing our best to protect them, instead, we're still trying to play expansive and leave them on their own. And by the way, before people make more excuses, KJ, you were spot on when you talked about Meno. Meno had an absolute stinker, but I expect that from him because, number one, Palace are amazing. He was going against ballers around his age that are quite as good as him, likes of Olise and them. So I understand why he got cooked today. Secondly, he's playing in the 6 alone. And I'm going to let Griggs obviously talk about Meno a little bit more because he made a very good point. We have an actual 6 sitting on the bench. Instead, we're putting Eriksen and Mount in the midfield, and we're putting Meno as a lone 6, which is not his job. And then we're wondering why he's been hung out to dry and why he's getting exposed. Bro, when you're center back, by the way, Casemiro, I don't even want to describe what he did today. I'm actually so disgusted by what he did. I'm about to shower after this because I feel disgusted that I actually do a watch along for that. The guy was doing tiki-taka 1-2s on the right wing as a center back. We concede the ball, and you see 2 players running at Johnny Evans. Bro, Johnny Evans at 36, 35, playing with an injury. We should actually be protecting him, not leaving him one-on-one. This guy's doing tiki-taka football on the wing. And then for the 4th goal, he's giving up the ball. I mean, what experience did he learn from his Champions League, 5 Champions Leagues that everyone likes to talk about when he decided not to clear the ball and instead he wanted to turn into the midfield or back into the pitch? That's the same thing that Emerson Royale did yesterday. What is the difference between you and Emerson Royale then? Because you have the Champions League heritage and experience. And this is why when everyone kept saying he has the heritage Champions League, what, were we going to put the Champions League pots on the pitch and it's going to help us? That was going to defend for us. I would have rather put the Champions League pots on trophies on the pitch today. They would have blocked a shot or two because this guy couldn't do shit. Listen, just to wrap it up, because I don't want to take too long and I got to go anyways. Everyone who still backs this manager, everyone who still wants to make excuses for him, everyone who's still on their knees for Ten Hag, you deserve this. Hey, some of us don't deserve it. No, I mean it. Listen, all Diddy intended when I say they're on their knees for Ten Hag. All Diddy intended. I don't deserve that. Terry don't deserve that. Rhino don't deserve that. KJ don't deserve that. And Griggs don't deserve that. These people, I would love for Terry to please, Terry, this is a plead for me. I need you to do a Ten Hag in panel. Don't invite us. Just invite a Ten Hag in panel. Because I want to see, number one, if these people were real. And I want to see, number two, if they have functioning brains. Because there's no way anyone used a set of eyes today and they have a functioning brain and some decent IQ, just an average IQ that can watch today and just say, you know what? Give this manager another 300 million and let him build in the summer.
But Staffy, he plays the youth. He plays the youth.
Do you know what? I'm going to say about as well is the one comeback that Ten Hag inners have that makes my skin crawl and blood boil to a point where I have to. I want to make sure my defibrillator that's in my living room works, because when they say, "But we've got to break the cycle and stop sacking managers." When I hear that, I'm like, are you not reading what's going on at the club? KJ put a perfect tweet out a few weeks ago when the talk with the CEO going and Blanc coming in, and we know Ashworth's almost on his way, especially with Newcastle finding their guy. Wilcox is here. Wilcox is here, and we have a brand new football decision-making team. Everything we do from this point is different to what we've seen in the last decade. So when people go, we're not breaking the cycle if we sack the manager, the cycle's already been fucking broken. You morons. I'm sorry to be rude. I'm really sorry to be rude, but I find it moronic, stupid. I find it intellectually offensive. People that have that opinion, honestly, social services check, they shouldn't be trusted to make toast, let alone maybe breed and have children. What do you mean not break the cycle? The cycle has been broken by football decision makers coming in. Defending this manager now is all about your pride more than it is Manchester United. We all get things wrong.
Yeah.
I praised the signing of Casemiro when we got him. I didn't think he'd be washed this quickly. I criticised Staffy when he said he had to go in the summer. I thought Staffy was being premature. I thought with this manager and how good the first year was, we'd go on to another level this season. I got it wrong. I can accept that. My pride means very little to me when it comes to a footballing opinion, because my life doesn't change whether I get one right or I get one wrong. The terrace keeps growing. My children still love me, and I've still got my friends. It doesn't matter if I get an opinion wrong. Stressing about that is crazy. I don't understand people that are still sitting there, and I'm sorry to be rude about them, and I probably shouldn't do it, and I hold my hands up and say that's wrong of me, but I'm so frustrated at people continuing to ignore the real problems at this football club, and we've fixed one of them. What we now need is a fresh start, and people don't want it. Ironically, the one time when we have football decision makers here, they don't want the fresh start. I don't know, Griggs, does it make any sense to you?
Terry.
I just don't understand. Like, well, first of all, one thing on Casemiro, that was by far the worst performance I've seen from a player in the Premier League this year. He got dribbled past 8 times today. 8 times he got dribbled past today. That's embarrassing. But back to what Terry said. Yeah, I mean, you're right. We've seen managers at United get sacked for worse. We saw Louis van Gaal get sacked after he won the FA Cup. He won a trophy and he got sacked right after, with a team that he actually had a plan for. We look at this team today. We look at a team. We finally saw what United look like, because you mentioned Bruno and Rashford. I'm not saying that they're not an issue, but all like that kind of stuff. But last year, I tweeted this out. I said Rashford is papering over the cracks of Ten Hag. I said Ten Hag has done a decent job coaching, but you look at what Rashford is doing in the attack, and he papered over a lot of cracks. We scored 58 goals last year, right? We scored about 52 this year. So we're pretty much at an even pace. And then Rashford carried that attack last year, and we finished high. Now you look at this team. There were no game changers on the pitch today, and look what the attack looked like. We had about 0.3 XG today. That's what we had. Garnacho, Højlund, Anthony. That front three, I promise you, in the championship, Hull City's front three is better than that. Ipswich Town, who just got promoted, their front three is better than that. Omari Hutchinson.
Big up McKenna.
Yeah, big up McKenna. And by the way, speaking of Kieran McKenna, his season's over. So is there a possibility to contact Ipswich Town to get him on loan for the FA Cup final? Is it possible? Can we hit him up? Just we'll pay the wages. We'll pay extra. We'll pay double. We'll pay the money. We have the money for it. Can he coach the FA Cup final? Because what City are about to do to us, because this team has given up. I don't think even the FA Cup final will get them up. We have Ten Hag having Bayern in his ear now. Bro, go ahead, leave, man. We shouldn't even block his way. Just tell him, you want to go to Bayern? Go over there, man. Maybe life is greener in Bavaria, in Munich. Go over there. Because what good is he going to do to me here? Today, well, I shouldn't even be this mad because I predicted a loss. I didn't expect to do anything today. But it's just how bad and how lifeless we look. I couldn't name you a single positive action from any United player today. Not a single one. I don't remember any positive action.
Maybe
should that goal have been maybe disallowed? I don't. That was weak. Whatever. But I don't really care about that. It's just so bad. Onana getting beat at his near post. Olise was dunking on us. Congratulations to Michael Olise. He passed his audition today. Hopefully I see you in the summer in the United jersey. Because Anthony, what good does he do for me? What good? And I hope he leaves with Ten Hag too. Because today, I think Terry, you mentioned it earlier, 7 of the 11 players that he signed were on that pitch today. 7. There were 7. So it wasn't players downing tools. Those are his guys. And if the guys that you signed down tools on you, that means that you can't motivate your team. And from the moment that you can't motivate your team, you should not be in a job. Because I always say this, a team is a reflection of their manager. And this is what the reflection of Erik ten Hag looks like on that pitch. He's been a dead man walking for a long time. And Ineos, I don't know why they're trying to keep trying to like downplay and delay the decision, but just announce it. Bayern Munich have been in Champions League the whole year. They were before a Champions League quarterfinal against Manchester City, against Arsenal. They announced Thomas Tuchel, you will no longer be in this job after the season ends. How come Bayern Munich are allowed to? They could do that, but we can't tell Erik ten Hag he's sacked before an FA Cup final. We can't tell them that because that's the club on our prestige. They're meant to be on our prestige.
Isn't that the concerning part though, that they haven't announced it? Because you're right.
It is a little concerning. It is a little concerning. I would say the only difference is that we're about to start something really different to where Bayern Munich are in terms of their journey as a club. There's a grace period there, but I am looking at them and I don't understand what's going on. Maybe there's an element here, and I felt this for a few weeks. You've got Ajax that are looking, you've got Bayern Munich that are looking. Maybe Man United thinking, well, if they offer him a contract, we might get compensation rather than paying him 15, 20 million pounds to go away. But other than that, they've got to look to move him on. But we're going to come to rivals in a minute. Rhino, talk to us.
Look, guys, man, this is where United are at, man. This is how bad we are, bro. Like, I don't know. It's so funny, Staffy. I remember the other day you was like, I can't remember what show I was on with you, and you was like, I'm not surprised, I'm not stressed, but now I feel like it's got to you today. This is
No,
I
no,
feel
no.
like
You
you.
see my watch
I feel
along, bro. We swear
I
we
feel
talk
like
about
you.
anything but the game, bro. I'm chilled, bro. I got the Knicks
Listen.
game in an hour, bro. I don't care. I'm just doing this. My friends are coming. I'm about to get the shisha ready and the pizza ready. I couldn't care less,
Hey.
bro. I got playoffs. Me and Greg. Listen, before I go, I actually want to say this. I'm sorry, right now. I
Yeah,
don't want to
go on,
interrupt
go
you.
on.
Everyone
No,
who
go on.
told me stick to NBA, thank you guys. I thought you guys were being xenophobic. You guys were actually watching out for me. You knew that my future with the NBA is better than this. You guys were trying to warn me that United were going to be shit. I apologize for being stubborn and not listening to you guys. I am off to the NBA and I got a championship to chase while United are dead for me. But before I go, I do want to apologize to one person. Footy Judge Mo is probably the only person that I owe an apology this season. Because this season, me and him went back and forth a lot about who has a better projection for the season, who's going to probably finish higher, who's the better team. It was Chelsea and United. To be fair, a lot of switches happened since. But at the end of the day, he got that one right. Because at the end of the day, Chelsea ended up proving to be a better coach team than United. That's one smoke I got to hold this season. So for that one, Footy Judge Mo, my hat's off for you. Other than that, listen, sorry, Ryan, I didn't mean to interrupt. Like and subscribe,
no
guys.
worries, man.
I'll see you, inshallah, on
Yeah.
the next stream.
Big
Thank
up
you.
Staffy, man. Listen, man. Big up my guy Jams as well. Listen, look, man. I'm telling you, man. I even said this. Chelsea is better than us. I said this like months ago. People were like, "Oh, what are you talking about?" I've said this. I don't know who's seen me say it, but I've said Chelsea. They've shown elements of more of a style of play and more positivity and more of a unit than we have ever. Like, we see more of it. They've got a bigger sample size of it. So, for me, this kind of game was coming, man. Obviously, I'm not even going to get into Casemiro. He's playing centre-back. He's not a centre-back. I get it. He was crap. There's so many mistakes he made. But, bro, the bigger problem is the coaching of this team. Yeah, but
do you not think he's doing?
No, I hear that, but the problem's bigger than all of this. For me,
Yeah,
I'm at the stage.
I agree.
I'm at that stage where I just feel like the main problem is these guys are not coached. So whether they're throwing the manager under the bus, whether they're just doing things on purpose, we've just passed the stage of criticizing them now. To a degree, innit? Obviously, we can always criticize players. Bruno wasn't on the pitch today. Rashford wasn't on the pitch today. Who are we going to blame now? What's the excuse now? All the people that keep saying, "Oh, Rhino's negative." You guys are always negative. You've no Varane, not nobody. So we finally had a Mount in a 10. We had Ericsson and Mainu, that midfield that a lot of people are saying, yeah, we're going to keep the ball. We're going to get a lot of ball retention in the midfield, and we're going to see how bad Bruno is. And what now, people? What now? So what's the excuse now? Are we negative? Because we called this out for months, and we know that no matter what team is out on the pitch, these guys are not trained well. They should be a lot better than they are. With a better coach, you probably get more out of them. But for the whole season, these guys have not been coached. A lot of them haven't been coached for years. So I'm
going to double down on what you said. Not even a better
go on.
coach. I reckon League 2 manager with a structure could get us playing better football than this.
Yeah.
100%.
And that's what I'm saying, yeah. So, KJ, you know what it is for me, yeah? At this point, just sink the ship. Sink the ship. Let's rip the wallpaper, rip everything down. Let's plaster the walls. Let's fix everything. Instead of just putting wallpaper over the cracks. Instead of just thinking that one day we might play well. Instead of worrying about going toe-to-toe with Chelsea in the mid-offs. This is mad. This is crazy. This is where Manchester United are at, guys. So we are the new banter club. We are the new Spurs. You might as well sing United get battered everywhere we go, because that's where it is right now. And do you know what's so crazy, yeah? It was mad to me because seeing Casemiro as a centre-back, I was kind of thinking to myself, let some competent strikers play against this guy and they will get skinned. And you're putting someone like Johnny Evans, who's given us a decent season, and that shows the level of where Man United are at, with somebody like Casemiro who's probably checked out. Listen, Mateta skinned him alive. I felt so sorry for him, but it's bound to happen. We're going to get beat on pace. And this is why I think Arsenal are going to actually beat us this time, because they're going to smell blood. I know you might get to the whole Old Trafford mentality thing and whatever, but listen, we're going to get skinned alive. But going to the game anyway, this is where we're at, guys. 4-0 Crystal Palace.
I just have
local to my mum's house. Like, so I'm seeing the Palace fans. Like, it's crazy. The Man United fans left early. Bear them were going down the trains. They left early. They signed out. But all I'm going to say is this is a reality check of where we are at. So all these people that had that bit of hope or thought that, you know what, we can still beat these teams, this is where United and this is where we've been at. Simple.
Thank you, Rhino.
have-
Can
I
I
have-
just
I have
add
a
one thing?
question.
I want to stop at one point. Michael Griggs came here and said, Michael Olise, hats off to you. You passed the audition. And then that actually is really contradicting what Rhino's saying. You guys have to understand where you are right now as a football club. I know you got the money, you got everything. But if Michael Olise next season there are 7 teams ahead of you, including Newcastle, the Michael Olise might choose. If Michael Olise, after this show today from Manchester United, choose Man United, I know it depends on the manager, but me and Terry got into straight facts and saying it doesn't look like you're going to get a top manager. It looks like you're going to get a development manager, like someone with a process like Graham Potter or someone else. That's the worry part for Man United fans. Where you are now, it's what Rhino said. You guys have to see and wait and have to be patient because it doesn't look like you're getting the Pogbas again. You aren't getting you might get the Casemiros for 1 year, but you aren't. Like, if Michael Olise next season is gonna leave Crystal Palace and he choose Man United, someone should slap the kid and tell him, wake up. This is not the right choice. And because if you are getting KJ, this is it. When Terry actually told me 3 months ago, no more, we're gonna get a good manager, I said, yeah, the manager might be the guy that attracts players, right? But if you're gonna go get a Graham Potter or someone like from that caliber, where is who are you gonna get? Why the player will join Man United next season? I'm not gonna overly.
It's the project, isn't it? It could be the project, isn't
The
it?
attraction part.
Yeah,
There are way better projects, Rhino. Sorry, KJ.
True.
We are going to be quote unquote less attractive. I'm not saying that isn't the thing, but we can also get players in and if sell them on the project of this is new. This ain't Glazers Man United, even though they are still
in the background.
owners. Yeah, they're still there, but this is Surgeons Man United. You've got actual football people with actual pedigree in the game, with the likes of Wilcox, Barada, who's from Man City. You've got Ashworth coming in. I think those guys could talk to players like Olise and give us a better chance of signing them than John Murtaugh, then flipping Woodward, then Arnold.
Yeah.
So to completely say that we've got no chance in these players, we have a chance. It's not as big as.
Yeah, I get where Mo's coming from. I would say this: we've got to wait and see if we sack the manager, who we bring in, and everything else. We're still Manchester United, and that still holds in this day and age a lot of weight in football. There's no doubt about it. But we wait and see. We wait and see until the summer. I'm going to come to. Yeah, go on.
I have a question. I just came here because of the second goal. What was going on there? Just that second goal. I have not see everything you guys have talked about the football. You've criticized your club. I cannot see anything. I can't see anything more to it. Matete should not. That goal should not have been allowed, as far as I was concerned. Because if Onana touched that ball, Onana's hand would have broken, and he would have had to be responsible for the hospital bill. What were you guys doing on that? The second goal, like for everything that happened throughout the entire game, him turning Evans, I think it was Evans.
Yeah.
But I turned and I just saw it happen. Like he turned Evans so slowly. It was such a slow turn. It wasn't even like he was quick. It wasn't like he just went boom.
It was subtle.
It was just
the thing is, Dio. The thing. Johnny Evans is not just 36. He's 36. And if you look at his last season at Leicester, injury plagued, and he looked a broken man. He's our 6th choice centre back. He shouldn't be, but he is. And he was left exposed by the system. What Mateta did to him, yeah, he got dusted, he got ripped apart. But you should never believe in a man of his overarching ability at his age, who's just returned from injury in that environment. The reason that goal happened,
I'm not blaming him. I'm not blaming him.
I know you're not. I'm going to get to your answer.
That goal started from Casemiro.
That goal happens because Man United in and out of possession have bad shape. I'm not a trained coach, so do I know how to fix it? I'm not going to pretend to be a tactic come online. These people that have got no qualifications that think they know everything. But when I watch us in possession, what my fan eye tells me is players don't seem to be in the right position. When I watch most teams we play, they've always got an outlet. There's always somebody available in a sensible position to receive the ball. We don't. Everything's always a case of we've got to thread the eye of a bloody needle here to play a simple pass. There was 3 or 4 times tonight away from that attack where Garnacho had the ball. He got man with no left or right foot overlapping. So he goes on the inside, and there's only one pass available, and it's to Ericsson on the edge of the box. But it gets cut out by Hughes. But it's because it has to be the best pass he's ever played in his life. Why is that the only option for Garnacho, who's in the right situation and scenario? That is coaching. That is the system. We lost the ball where Casemiro was. I'm not even worried about Casemiro being in that position. But when he moves out there, somebody has to move back into his role, and he has to be given options by his teammates for simple passes. Yes, there's always should be a difficult pass on that can thread the eye of a needle where you go, wow, that was a great pass. But there has to be simple options. We don't create that in how we play football. That's why that goal happened. That's why so many of our goals happen. It's why when we attack, we look absolutely blunt. And I don't think it's player ability overall. I really do believe it is how we're drilled. Crystal Palace are a prime example. No one was talking about. I saw people tweeting during the game. I've always rated Mateta. Fuck off. No one has propped Mateta up in the last 2 years. No one.
I liked him at Mainz. I did like him at Mainz.
Okay, but I mean it's in a nice way, Steve. But you're weird, and you watch all football all around the world. You're different to everybody else, Steve. Like I get you probably did. I'm talking because this man. You know what I'm saying, right? You watch so much football, Steve, but nobody was bigging him up. Suddenly, Palace move away, respect to Roy Hodgson, from Roy Hodgson, old-fashioned football, and Mateta, who this man watched the fucking whatever they were, in Minsk or wherever it was he played, right? And he's looking good again. But no one was hyping him in England because we didn't see him in the right system. And I'm sick and tired of this. Oh, he's a system player. He's a system player. Every footballer, barring a finite handful of players who are just amazing beyond belief, aliens, everybody needs a good system. Everybody needs to be well coached. And everybody needs their teammates around them to be well coached. It's a team fucking sport. I sometimes sit there and shudder at the bullshit I hear. Oh, this guy's a system player. Or you mean like 99.9% of all footballers ever? Fuck me. Sam, talk to us.
You're right. I think the reason why Man United lost today is system and structure, to be honest with you. I think certain teams have just been unlucky against Man United in terms of the way that no way we're doing Mateta prop. Anyway, I don't know. Dio singling out that second goal is insane because all 4 goals were just crap goals to concede. All 4 of them. Just the way that Man United plays structurally from a systematic perspective. Just any defender, any DM, any midfielder would look like crap in that team. I'm not going to single out Mainu. I'm not going to single out any Casemiro. No one. I think no one deserves to be singled out because the system won't allow anyone to succeed. I don't think anyone in this Man United team can succeed the way that they play currently in this moment in time. And that's why actually I think Ten Hag does deserve to get sacked. My opinions on Chelsea and Man United are completely different because Ten Hag's the guy that chose, I think, Terry said earlier on, 8 of the 11 players that were out there today, or 9 of them. So obviously he's been the one that's been influencing these transfer decisions to begin with. And, and here's the only disagreement I have with Terry from what he initially said is the following. I think despite Ten Hag needs to go, I think there are certain players that need to be judged because there are certain players that will also let down the manager after this one. And they're going to let down the manager after and the manager after because their body language today. Because, listen, you can't... One thing like about Amrabat, he came on, he's a lone player. He's not even going to stay. More, like 99% he's not going to stay. He came in, he put some tackles in, he just, put it on Olise and stuff like that. Like, that type of shit even just doesn't exist at Man United currently. And I feel like there's so many players, just no fight, just negative body language, just kind of accepting their fate. Just no fight whatsoever. Like, oh yeah, we're coming to Crystal Palace, we're going to lose 4-0 and it's okay. Like, who cares? Type of attitude. And I think that's the problem. But I think Ten Hag is a dead man walking right now. Ten Hag is a dead man walking. I think he 100% deserves to get sacked. And he's put himself in this hole. I mean, the amount of spaces that today Crystal Palace had in midfield, the amount of space, like they had about 20 meters of just empty space every time they had the ball. Every time they had the ball, they had 20 meters of empty space. And I'll be honest with you, Man United, you could even say Man United were lucky it ended 4-0. Because if they kept on Olise, Eze, and Mateta to the end of the game, and they played their game. Even Edward had the post. Odson Edward had the post at the end. So Man United have a structural issue, and I think that's why the manager is to blame. But some personnel need to be held accountable. Mainu, I know Mo's talking about Olise. There's the other way around with players leaving. I think Mainu could look at the Rashford experiment as an example. And if like a PSG come in for him this summer, or like a big club, massive club around Europe, he could be going like, shit, this Rashford guy stayed, and now look, he's being compared to the worst of the worst instead of the best of the best. Maybe I need to make the move myself, type thing. So yeah,
Tony Cruz understudy, Husam. Tony Cruz understudy.
Yeah, Tony Cruz understudy. Yeah, 100%. I mean,
I'm here for it. I am hyping it all summer. I'm here for it, bro.
Yeah, listen, Sam, you're spot on in what you say. This is the problem when it comes. And I don't know what Rhino and Griggs feel about this, and obviously KJ's United fans. But when it comes to the discourse about our club, everybody wants to. It's almost like everybody's trying to force it into a sort of polarized situation. Well, we've got to break the cycle and not sack the manager and clear out the squad, or the squad just need a new manager and need to be better coached. You're right. There are lots of players that need to go over the next 2 summers, but the manager also has to go as well, because the system issues will have persisted all campaign, regardless of injuries, and it's all teams. We've played against teams in lower leagues that have had 15 to 20 shots per game on us. We've actually conceded more shots on goal per game in the Premier League now this season than Sheffield United, who have been relegated. That is nothing to do with that's nothing to do with the injuries.
Even worse, Terry, we conceded more shots than the Derby County team that finished with 11 points in Premier League.
Nah, you're joking.
It's crazy.
KJ, that can't be true. That can't be true.
No, it's true. No, it's facts.
No.
We
It is.
broke that record with 5 games to go or something crazy. We already passed them. We are already past that.
I know. No.
Can't fathom. It's crazy.
No.
It's true. It's true. It's genuine facts.
Look, my brain, my brain literally twitched right now. You literally twitched my brain. I'm trying to connect it. No, it's not working. Nah,
bro, this is
crazy. But this is the mental part of it for me. Of people's pride. There's a United fan who's tweeted me here with a screenshot of a tweet of mine from November 2022, where I said, "As disrespectful as some people will find Ronaldo's interview, it is." Actually perfect for Ten Hag and Man United. We play better football without Ronaldo and we need him gone. I stand by that statement. Ronaldo, with how we were trying to play at the start of Ten Hag coming in, Ronaldo couldn't do it in the Premier League in 2022 at the time. He was just slightly too old for it. We progressed from that point. So from that point in November up until our final against Newcastle, a lot of people say, I get what you're saying about Rashford. I don't think Rashford necessarily papered over cracks. Back end of the season, yes. I thought we were playing really nice in that 6-month period from sort of late September until end of sort of March. I was really happy with the progression. It wasn't perfect. There were still holes, but I felt we could go to another level from that point. That's the bit that hurts the most with this, is that it was whatever we were doing last year was abandoned. We bought poorly. In the end, I don't necessarily think we've bought really bad players. I just don't think it's worked for what we're trying to do. And that's the issue when it comes to these conversations. As I say, they're so polarized. It's you either got to say all the players are crap and the manager's not the problem, or the manager's crap and all the players are really good. And I just think there's so much more nuance to it than that. And it becomes a really hard conversation to have about Manchester United. And you've got United fans that are still defending the manager. I find it crazy. This here says Mateta, the new GOAT. He did look good today. Onana is almost equal in Messi's tally of 91 goals. Oh, that's just crazy. This is the thing of Onana. I said after the last Champions League game, I'd sell him in January. I thought I went for about 2-month period where I was like, I'll probably a bit over the top on that one. I watched him again tonight, and I know he's having a shitload of shots at him, right? I kind of get that.
Yeah.
But he ain't. I just look at him, and I'm just like, I think he's good enough. But having said that, like his passing game's gone backwards. What are we doing in training where one of the best passing goalkeepers in the world, he can't find a man? Like every pass he attempts doesn't go to a Man United player.
Regression.
It's crazy.
None of our back four want the ball anyways, to be fair.
This year says, why not allow to see how it works with a structure behind him? And if he fouls, then sack him. Bayern see a coach in him and want him. Again, Tony,
yeah, I don't want him at Bayern.
Can I go for this, Terry, please?
Yeah, go on, Sard.
Listen, this is to all the Ten Hag inners, and please don't take this to heart. Are you guys on drugs? Like, what do you guys see
Out of
in this
copium.
guy that can still allow you to keep this guy in and say, oh, you know what? We can give him another chance under a solid system where he's getting backing from the owners and this and that. But there is no backing. This guy's clueless. The fact that he's come out in multiple, I think today he's actually been honest for once and said that the performance was shit. But before then, he was coming out and saying, oh, look, we were brilliant in this game and we just couldn't get over the line. And you're getting peppered in games. These teams are peppering you. These are teams that wouldn't even have been a level 2 years ago. 2 years ago, they weren't even on your level, bro. And now they're peppering you. Palace today peppered you.
Yeah.
They made you look like scumbags just on the pitch, bro. Just some youth team that they play in. It looked like a training game for them. They were first to every second ball. They were winning every ball. Every ball. I think Man United players were literally just trying to clear out as many balls as they could and just trying to get it away from their goal. But, bro, I don't understand what you guys see in this guy. What do you guys see in this guy that still gives you the belief? I mean, that super chat where he said that Bayern Munich are smoking crack right now. I don't know what's going on in their like hierarchy and their board right now for them to look at Ten Hag and say
they're high cracky. They're high cracky. It's in their high cracky. They're high cracky.
I don't know what's going on in the hierarchy. I don't know who's up there.
By the way, the last three managers are Tuchel, Nagelsmann, and Kovac. So it's not like they're.
It doesn't make sense.
Not none of you. I swear at my brother. Sorry, we're swearing at you lot. Get the fuck out of here.
It makes no
Hey,
sense.
Sad, do you want me to add on to what you're saying? Yeah, do you know what it is? Yeah, one thing that confuses me about these Ten Hag inners, I don't even want to label them because they start getting in their feelings. But look, at the end of the day, Ten Hag, I always like my analogies. Yeah, we've got grass. Yeah, our lawnmower is broken. Yeah. And instead of using like maybe scissors or even like shears to cut your beard, Ten Hag's trying to pluck out with a hammer. He's trying to use the back of the hammer. He's not using the right tools. So you give this guy a structure, you give him the scissors, you give him the lawnmower. He probably won't even use the lawnmower anyway. That's exactly what he does. It's the same analogy I use. He don't pick the right players. So
KJ, can I apologize to you? Sorry, KJ. I just checked in over 600. You're right, over 600 shots. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I doubted you. I apologize.
There's a fact that the Derby County 11-point shots faced fact is a fact. Like that is a fact. Like, and we still got 3 games to go to absolutely break the record.
What's the all-time record?
We replied to what Rhino was saying as well. You know, another reason why he should not be allowed with a structure. When you've given the man what he's wanted, he still don't use it. We gave him Amrabat, don't play him. We gave him Mount. Don't play him. We gave him Anthony. He dropped him and hasn't developed him. We gave him Ericsson. Hasn't developed. Like, this is what I'm saying. Like, he's had enough. People have said he hasn't had his players. He's had like 14 players. But why in there?
And the injury stuff's nonsense, right? I'll tell you why. I know it's played a part. But let's not pretend like multiple teams on here haven't also had huge injury problems this year. You look at Brighton, right? Who everybody gets on at, okay? 4th to 5th, I don't quite know. 4th to 5th best defensively so far in 2004. They've been plagued with injuries and they lost all their best players in the summer. And yet their manager's getting cooked by people that rate Ten Hag. Look where that is. You know, look, Newcastle and Chelsea have had, poor seasons by their standards as an example. But look where we are in comparison to everybody. It is embarrassing. And even with our injuries, on paper, we still have better players than a lot of these teams. And it shouldn't be ignored. But of course, it is because people have too much pride. Big up the stream. I propped up Mount on Husam's stream and I regret it. Don't know if he's or it's the system. It's a combination. Look, he's a neat and tidy player. But in that 10 role, you don't need a neat and tidy player. You need someone that's going to break lines, create chances, and score goals.
By the way, Mainu looked better than him in the 10. But
yeah.
Can we just say something, guys? For everybody slagging Mainu, guys, Mainu is the only guy on the pitch that completed 95% and won 8 tackles and had 4 interceptions on the pitch. The kid is left high and dry. Like, I know a lot of people say Mainu is crap, guys.
numbers back what I saw in the game. Mainoo's the only one that showed up for the ball every time for
Yes.
Onana and for the two center backs, and they didn't lose the ball until he got trapped by 3 players because they know that the rest of the Man United players are
But even-
scrubs and they're
but
gonna leave
Mo-
him high and dry. Can we just establish that for
Even-
the people
he
that
was
say
the
Mainoo
least
was
there.
trapped?
Even-
That's not
even
true.
Mainoo, for
Not
me,
true.
For me, Mainoo, yeah, I will never criticize Mainoo, even if he goes out there and has a shit game, because that is what happens when you're in a shit system. It takes
Yeah.
every bit of good footballer in you, and then it just you end up like, bro, what am I doing here, bro? Why am I the only one that's doing something and I'm 18 years old? These men are experienced players within the game of football. They have played at the highest level. Why am I the one that's being depended on consistently in the midfield?
It's crazy.
And
Like
I see you Chelsea fans in the chat. I see each and every one of you. You guys are waiting for this to shit on Mainoo because of the take of Enzo on Mainoo. I see
Watch
you.
out.
Anyway.
Watch out.
Yes, I see you. Chelsea
we
fans.
shouldn't blame Cass. Bruno gave the ball away. Wasn't that right, Staffy? Even if people like it or not, this is Bruno's team record with that. Look, Bruno deserves criticism as well, but I've always found this notion that we would be an exponentially better team snap overnight if he left. It's just so agenda filled and wrong. Doesn't mean he shouldn't be criticized, but anyone who thinks that shouldn't be talking about football, in my opinion. One major player you need to let go is Rashford. He needs to be out of England quick time. See, potentially. I've always said this about
He didn't
England.
even play tonight.
Even about Rashford. Listen, I feel that I kind of want him to move on because I feel like there needs to be some sacrifice to certain players. But I've always felt for him the same as I felt for Pogba, the same as I feel for Anthony Martial. There's a reason that and people are wondering why Mainoo's performances aren't as good as when he first came in the team. Everyone who plays in our first team goes backwards. Everyone for 10 years. I don't understand what the shock is. What time does the real match start? Because clearly that was a Palace. That was the Crystal Palace practice game. Yeah, it was that bad. Coming from a Chelsea fan, United should do whatever they can to get Tuchel. He is top. The fan base will fall in love with his character. Promise.
I think that's banter. I think that's banter.
The promise at the end kind of gives it away. Look, I want to thank everybody that has tuned into the show tonight. I want to thank everyone who super chatted and hit the like button. This stream is going to take you to Mo and Husam's channel. So no, it's going to go to This Is Football, not Mo and Sam channel. It's going to This Is Football for A-listers. So make sure you follow this stream through. We're back tomorrow with Straight Facts at 3:30 in the afternoon. Champions League reactions as well. Oh, I'm going to bed. Take care. Good night. God bless. And